The dining room was crowded with voices, laughter, and the clink of glasses. It was one of those Friday nights where her friends, self-proclaimed ride-or-die squad, took over the space I paid rent for. They sprawled on my couch, turned my dining table into their stage, and laughed louder than the music. I stood in the kitchen doorway with a dish towel in my hand, listening to my girlfriend, Leah, make her grand declaration. "Love can wait," she said, tossing her hair back with a grin. "But friendship can't. They'll be here after." The words dropped like a knife in my chest. Everyone laughed. Everyone except me. Her eyes slid over me briefly, like I was a guest in my own home. And then, as if on cue, her best friend Tyler clinked glasses with her, sealing the truth I'd been trying to ignore. "My name is Ethan Cole. I am 30 years old, and the night my girlfriend told a room full of people that friendship mattered more than love, I realized I'd been erased from my own story. If you're watching this, drop a comment, hit like and subscribe, because what came next wasn't a fight or a plea. It was silence, strategy, and the kind of revenge no one forgets. I didn't pack my bags right away, not physically, anyway. First, I packed them in my head. I remembered my father's words from years ago: "Don't fight in the middle of a storm, son. Let the storm blind them. Then move." That night, while Leah and her friends laughed until sunrise, I laid awake in bed listening to her snore beside me. My heart was pounding, not from grief anymore, but from clarity. She had drawn a line. She put me on one side, her friends on the other. And I was done standing there. The next morning, I drove out to my mother's place. She was the only one in my family who hadn't turned her back on me after Dad died. She made me coffee in the chipped mug Dad used to keep on his workbench. "Rough night?" she asked, her eyes sharp but kind. I nodded. Leah said something. Something I can't come back from. Mom didn't push for details. She just placed her hand over mine, warm and steady. "Then don't come back." I remembered being 12, standing on that same porch, overhearing my father argue with his brother about the family inheritance. Dad's brother had tried to cut him out. The fight was brutal, but Dad never raised his voice. He just gathered the papers, walked out, and won in silence. That memory was gasoline. By Monday, I had a plan. I went into work early, filed my vacation days, and started making quiet phone calls. Leah had no clue. She thought I was sulking, maybe even ready to apologize. But the truth was, I was documenting everything. Her squad had been squatting in our apartment more than living in their own. They drank, they broke things, they mooched groceries. I had receipts, credit card statements, photos, even recordings of late-night arguments where Leah admitted she let Tyler crash in our bed because he was too drunk to drive. I remembered walking in one night to see Tyler sprawled on my side of the bed, Leah curled up on the couch pretending it was nothing. The smell of beer clung to the sheets. My fists itched, but I said nothing. That silence became my weapon. By Wednesday, I was ready. I rented a modest place across town. Small, clean, quiet. When I signed the lease, the landlord slid me the keys and said, "Fresh start, huh?" "Yeah," I answered. "Fresh start." That evening, while Leah was out with her friends, I packed. Not in rage. Not in haste. Every folded shirt was deliberate. Every drawer emptied was a statement. When she came back later that night, she didn't notice the missing luggage. She was too busy posting selfies with her crew. By Thursday morning, I was gone. Moving into the new apartment felt like shedding a second skin. For the first time in years, I could hear myself think. No Tyler. No drunken laughter. No living room takeover. Just me, my boxes, and silence. I didn't block Leah's number. I didn't even delete her on social media. Instead, I watched. Observed. Every post she made was another nail in the coffin she was building for herself. Her favorite caption, "Love fades, but the squad is forever." I screenshotted every single one. The first weekend in my new place, I invited my younger sister, Amy, over. She had always been the loyal one. Through school fights, through Dad's funeral, through every stupid decision I made. She showed up with pizza and a six-pack. "So, it finally blew up?" she asked between bites. "Not yet," I said. "But it will." She studied me, then smirked. Dad would be proud. You're planning something, aren't you? Something permanent, I replied. I remembered when Amy was 16 and Dad taught her how to change a tire in the driveway. He handed her the wrench, grease smearing her hands, and said, "Always know how to take care of yourself. And your brother." She never forgot. Neither did I. By the time Leah realized I was gone, it was too late. She texted me once. "Where are you? Squad's coming over tonight." I didn't answer. She showed up at my old place, furious, but the landlord had already switched the locks. Her friends laughed about it online, calling me dramatic and soft. But behind the laughter, cracks were forming. Tyler wasn't just her friend. I had proof. And proof has a way of cutting through noise. The tension built like a storm. I knew it was only a matter of time before Leah and her crew tracked down my new address. They were loud, predictable, entitled. But that was exactly what I wanted. Because waiting for them was more than just me. It was the receipts, the inheritance papers, and a plan Dad would have nodded at with approval. The knock came on a Sunday evening. Loud, arrogant, careless. Leah's voice carried through the door. "Ethan, open up. Don't be a coward." Behind her, the laughter of her friends. I tightened my grip on the folder in my hand. Inside it, photos, records, contracts. Proof of everything they never thought I'd collect. When I opened the door, their smirks froze for just a second. Enough for me to know. The real story was about to begin. Leah pushed past me like she still owned the space. Her perfume hit me first, too sweet, too loud, just like her. Behind her, Tyler and the rest of the squad piled in, laughing, tossing their jackets across my new furniture like they'd been invited. "This is cute," Leah said, scanning the apartment with that smirk I used to mistake for charm. "But you really think you can just leave? No note? No explanation?" I held the folder close to my chest and smiled. Sometimes silence says enough. Tyler chuckled, slumping onto my couch. "Man, you're salty. We came here to talk, not watch you sulk." The others laughed. It was always easier for them to perform as a group. Individually, they were cowards. Inside, my pulse thundered. But outside, I was ice. I set the folder down on the coffee table and said, "If you came to talk, then sit. But if you came to take, you should know, this isn't like before. This is my place. My rules." For a moment, their confidence flickered. Then Leah leaned forward, her smile razor-sharp. "Ethan, don't play this game. You're not built for it." What she didn't know was that I'd already been playing. Quietly. Meticulously. Weeks before moving out, I'd contacted a lawyer my father once trusted. The same lawyer who had handled our family's inheritance battle when my uncle tried to strip Dad of what was his. That lawyer still owed us. Still remembered the case. With his help, I pulled together everything I needed. Records showing Leah had siphoned my money for her friends, photos of Tyler in my bed, posts where they bragged about freeloading. Evidence that wasn't just humiliating but legally damning. And at the center of it all, an unexpected detail in Dad's estate papers. Leah thought I had nothing. In truth, I had a property clause with my name etched across it. Something she and her squad never expected I'd inherit. Amy dropped by that night, slipping into the apartment as Leah's crew sprawled in the living room. She carried 2 pizza boxes, setting them down with deliberate calm. "Who invited the babysitter?" Tyler sneered. Amy shot him a look that could cut steel. "Who invited the leeches?" The room went quiet for a beat. Then Leah tried to laugh it off, but her voice wavered. "Relax, everyone," I said. "Amy's here because she knows the truth. And because she's family. You wouldn't understand." I remembered the time Leah begged me to skip Thanksgiving with my mother so she could host a Friendsgiving instead. I sat there, watching her toast her squad with wine I bought, listening to them mock my mom's cooking without ever tasting it. The shame I swallowed that night still burned. Now that burn fueled me. Tyler leaned forward, grabbing a slice of pizza. "Truth? Please." "The truth is you couldn't handle Leah having real friends. You're insecure." Amy folded her arms. "Real friends don't drain someone dry. They don't squat in his home. And they sure as hell don't crawl into his bed when he's gone." Leah's face drained of color. That's not what happened. Save it, I cut in. I've got photos. Records. Want to see? I opened the folder and spread the contents across the table. Screenshots, receipts, bank transfers, photos of Tyler passed out on my sheets. Each paper hit the wood like a gavel. The laughter stopped. Leah grabbed at one of the sheets, her hand shaking. You were spying on me? No, I said. I was surviving you. Tyler cursed under his breath, pushing up from the couch. This is crap. None of this proves anything. Amy smirked. It proves enough. I remembered sitting outside Leah's apartment when we first started dating, waiting with flowers. She came down late, phone in her hand, laughing at a text. Sorry, squad drama, she'd said. I didn't notice then how often they came first. But the pattern had been there all along. Now I wasn't blind. Leah's voice trembled, though she tried to mask it with anger. So what, Ethan? You think you can just walk away with your little folder of secrets and ruin me? I leaned closer. Not ruin. Expose. There's a difference. The silence that followed wasn't comfortable. Her friends shifted uncomfortably, exchanging nervous glances. Tyler finally broke. You wouldn't dare. I smiled, cold and steady. Try me. After they left that night, faces pale, laughter gone, Amy turned to me. So what's next? Just showing them papers isn't enough. I nodded. That was just the first strike. They think it's about embarrassment. They don't know it's about leverage. Leverage? I tapped the estate folder, the one I hadn't shown Leah yet. Dad's old property. It's mine now. And I know exactly how to use it. Amy raised an eyebrow. You're going to bait them with it. Not bait, I said. Trap. The following week, Leah tried to reach me. Calls. Texts. Even a voicemail dripping with false sweetness. Ethan, let's talk. We don't need to make this ugly. But ugly was all she ever gave me. Her squad doubled down online, posting cryptic comments, calling me bitter. But I noticed fewer and fewer photos of them together. Cracks were showing. They were turning on each other. All I had to do was wait. I remembered Dad once telling me as he folded bills into an envelope, patience isn't just waiting, Ethan. It's knowing the other person will break before you do. Leah was breaking. I could hear it in her texts, see it in her posts. She missed the stability I gave her, the structure. Without me, she was just noise. Noise that was getting louder, desperate. On a Thursday evening, she showed up again. This time, alone. No friends. No backup. Her eyes were red, her smile brittle. Ethan, please. Can we just fix this? I didn't let her in. I stood in the doorway, calm as ever. Fixing implies something was broken. But Leah, it was destroyed the moment you told them love could wait. Tears filled her eyes, but I felt nothing. No sympathy. Just steel. I have something to show you, I said. I held up the estate paper, the one that proved Dad left me more than memories. Leah's eyes widened. What is that? My future, I answered. And your endgame. Her face twisted, torn between fear and greed. And in that moment, I knew she'd take the bait. Because Leah never chose love. She always chose opportunity. Leah stared at the estate papers like they were gold. Her hands trembled slightly, and I could almost hear the gears turning in her head. I knew that look. It was the same one she had when she spotted a designer bag on sale or when her friends pitched another half-baked scheme. This is real, she whispered, her voice soft for the first time in months. Every word, I said, holding her gaze. Dad left me a property out by the lake. It's in my name. No one else's. Her lips parted, and for a moment I thought she'd mask her greed. But Leah was incapable of hiding her true self for long. You're just going to keep it to yourself? She asked. Ethan, do you know what I could do with that place? Parties. Rentals. Connections. Your father wouldn't want you to waste it. I almost laughed. She invoked my father like she had ever respected him. I remembered the first Christmas after Dad died. Leah had suggested we skip visiting Mom and Amy, insisting instead we host a friends-only party. Family will always be there, she'd said, clinking glasses with Tyler. But friends? They're forever. That was the night I realized she'd never understand loyalty. And here she was, circling again. I leaned against the doorframe, deliberately calm. Funny you mention that. Because I've already made plans. Legal ones. This isn't just property, Leah. It's leverage. And you just volunteered to be part of it. Her eyes narrowed. What do you mean? I smiled. You'll see. Over the next week, I fed the fire. I let Leah believe the property was negotiable. I let her imagine the parties, the money, the clout. Tyler started texting me, pretending he wanted to bury the hatchet. The others hovered in the background, waiting like vultures. I let them circle. Because I knew greed always makes people sloppy. Amy helped me stage everything. She was sharper than any of them realized. She suggested inviting Leah and her crew to the property under the pretense of discussion. Make it look like you're considering their offer, Amy said, her voice low as we spread papers across my kitchen table. They'll show their cards if they think there's something to win. And when they do, I said, we'll already have the cameras rolling. The night of the meeting, I drove to the lake house early. The place was quiet, tucked among trees, with a view of the water that shimmered under the moonlight. Dad had bought it decades ago, and it still smelled faintly of cedar and tobacco. I set up the cameras, tiny, discreet, positioned exactly where they'd catch every word, every gesture. Then I waited. At 9 sharp, Leah's SUV pulled up. Out spilled Tyler, 2 of her closest girlfriends, and Leah herself, dressed like she was about to host an awards show instead of a private negotiation. She hugged me, fake warmth dripping from her voice. Ethan, thank you for being open-minded. I let her in. Inside, the performance began. Tyler poured drinks without asking, his smirk never fading. Man, this place is perfect. Imagine the squad taking it over for the summer. You'd be the talk of the town. One of Leah's friends chimed in. We could flip it into an Airbnb. Easy cash. You'd barely have to lift a finger, Ethan. Leah's hand found mine across the table. See? Everyone wins. We just need you to trust us. Trust. The word tasted bitter. I opened the folder, sliding the deed across the table. It's in my name. Legally untouchable. I'm considering partnerships. Their eyes lit up. Sharks circling blood. That's when they started fighting each other. Tyler leaned forward. I should be the one managing it. I've got experience with projects like this. Leah cut him off. Experience? Tyler, you can't even keep a job. This is mine and Ethan's opportunity. Her friends joined the fray, voices overlapping, accusations flying. One of them even snapped, Leah, you always hog everything. Maybe Ethan should let us handle it. The cameras caught it all. The greed, the betrayal, the cracks in their so-called forever squad. I sat back, silent, letting their chaos devour itself. I remembered Dad sitting at the head of the table during his brother's inheritance meltdown. My uncle had shouted, thrown papers, begged. Dad hadn't said a word until the room burned itself out. Then, calm and steady, he dropped one sentence. It was never yours to take. Now it was my turn. When the shouting finally paused, I stood. Do you hear yourselves? I asked. You came here claiming to be a squad. Family. Forever. And in 5 minutes, you've already sold each other out. They froze. I held up the remote, clicked it, and the hidden cameras projected their argument onto the TV. Their own words, their own greed, blaring back at them. The color drained from Leah's face. Tyler cursed. One of the girls buried her face in her hands. Everything's recorded, I said. Every word. Every offer. Every betrayal. You can't twist it, can't hide it, can't delete it. This is who you are. Leah's voice broke. Please. You wouldn't. I already did. The fallout was instant. The next morning, the video hit the group chat they thought was private. Screenshots spread like wildfire. Friends of friends shared it. Soon, the same crowd that had cheered Leah's speeches about Squad Forever turned on her. Tyler vanished from her photos. Her girlfriends unfollowed her. The squad imploded in real time, their dirty laundry aired for everyone to see. As for me, I didn't gloat publicly. I didn't post or brag. I just sat in my quiet apartment, sipping coffee, while their empire of noise collapsed. I remembered Dad's last advice, whispered in a hospital room that smelled of antiseptic: revenge doesn't need an audience. It just needs results. Now I understood. Weeks later, Leah showed up at my apartment one last time. No squad. No makeup. Just her, hollow-eyed, standing in the doorway. "Why?" she asked, her voice a rasp. "Why go that far?" I looked at her, the girl who once held my hand at night, who once swore we were forever. And all I saw was the stranger who told a crowded room that love could wait, but friendship couldn't. "Because you taught me," I said. "Love waits, but revenge doesn't." I closed the door. Life didn't snap back overnight. Scars never do. But slowly I rebuilt. Amy stayed by my side. Mom reminded me that silence can be louder than rage, and the lake house became my refuge instead of my weapon. And sometimes, when the wind rustled through the trees, I could almost hear Dad's voice, steady and proud. "You learned, son. You finally learned." Have you ever faced betrayal? Share your story in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe. Love can wait. Revenge doesn't wait.